Hello, this video is going to describe how you go about exporting your genealogy information from the Family Tree Maker application. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, you might want to share your information with loved ones or other researchers, and they may or may not have Family Tree Maker. If they don't have it, they may import it into Ancestry. You could also import it into other applications. Or you can use that GEDCOM with the myfamilystoryai.com website and view that information without having to have Family Tree Maker. Let me give you a quick example of how you would do that. In here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an existing GEDCOM that I had created earlier. I'm going to go into that GEDCOM. It's going to load and parse that GEDCOM. And these are all the names in this GEDCOM. And I'm going to filter by a few characters. I'm going to click on a person's name, and it's going to show me their family tree. 5 generations. There are more. You can simply click on one of these names and go further down the list. I'm going to click here on Adolfo Zaramora. Now, Adolfo is my grandfather, and my grandfather was born on September 26, 1909, in Navajo County, Winslow, Arizona. You can also take a look at relationships. These are relationships. Notice that my grandfather had 2 adopted parents and 2 biological parents. Also had 5 siblings and 5 kids. One of them was my mother, Marianne. Now you can also click on these names and navigate to those people, or you can simply go and look at other information like notes. And these are notes that you took inside of Family Tree Maker. You can look at these notes. They come from census or they come from family histories. You can take a look at a timeline of this person, of the events in this person's life, his marriage, when his siblings were born and when they died, when their children were born, etc. All the critical events in this person's lifetime. You can also take a look at the surnames in this person's ancestry. You can go in here and you can actually click on one of these and navigate to other people within this ancestry. Additionally, you can go into AI prompt, and this is text that was generated by the system that can be cut into the clipboard and then pasted into a language model like ChatGPT or others in order to generate biographies. I'm going to do it using the Copilot inside of my Explorer. I had one previously. I'm going to reset that so that I can start a brand new biography. I can do it inside of Chat, or I can do it inside of Compose. I'm going to do it inside of Compose. Now, one of the things about this is a free language model, which means it's got some limitations. For example, I've used 2,000 of 2,000 words, which means it probably cut my text off somewhere along the way. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to generate a genealogy. It just means it has incomplete information. You might have to subscribe to a ChatGPT or use one of the other AI engines that allow you more information. I want to build a casual genealogy here. I also want to create a short length, and I can now generate the draft. And you can see that it can generate a genealogy. And you can cut this into Word and start writing up your histories and doing the things that you want to do with these biographies. But how do you get that GEDCOM out of Family Tree Maker? Well, let's take a look. If you're familiar with Family Tree Maker, you're very familiar with this screen. And one of the things about this screen is that there's a person here and you have all this information. But I want to point out something over here in Customize View. Inside of Customize View, you have lots of fields of which you're only displaying a few. And I'm going to give you an example. You may see more information in your GEDCOM than you actually see on Family Tree Maker because you're not seeing everything. And so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add a field in here. I already added it, naturalization. Naturalization here actually has my some information about my birth date. This is my sponsors when I was confirmed. So just remember that all the information you get out of Family Tree Maker may seem like more if you're not displaying it here on the right. So how do you generate a GEDCOM? Well, it's called an export. You go into File here, you say Export. Here it says it gives you a reminder that you might want to include a password. And I'll explain a little bit about that here later. So here you can export an entire file. You can select an individual and then export from that person down. There's a lot of things. I'm just going to go to the entire file. I'm going to export a GEDCOM. We want to make sure that we select GEDCOM here. I can privatize this information so that living people, the notes can be removed. There's a few other things that Family Tree Maker will do to not give personally identifiable information inside of the GEDCOM file. Now here it says it exports media file, but it exports the links, not the actual images, into the GEDCOM. So we still have the same problem we had with Ancestry, and that images don't show up. Here's where you can click to export this to a zip file and password protect it. So if you want to share this GEDCOM with family or other researchers and you want to protect it with a password, here's where you can check to add a password, and it will prompt you for the password. In fact, I'll check it. You'll see it prompts you for a password, and it'll save it as a zip file instead of a GEDCOM. But once you're ready to go, you simply say OK, and then it asks you how you want to export it. I normally export it to any one of these others will work as well. I don't see much difference in them. You just have certain idiosyncrasies that these versions of Family Tree Maker require. So here I'm just going to say other, say OK. Now here's where it's going to tell me where it wants me to load it. Now I'm going to put it over here with all my other GEDCOM files. I'm going to call it, instead of this date, I'm going to say, let's call it Jetty for little GEDCOM file. And we'll save that to that file. Now it's going to go through. I chose a rather long, rather large GEDCOM file. No, this is a shorter one. I did better than I thought. Anyway, it's exported the files, and now I can go back to my myfamilystoryai.com website. I can refresh and go to the beginning, or I can simply click load a GEDCOM down here. I'm going to load a GEDCOM. I can go over here and now do my Jetty. And open that GEDCOM file. By the way, that noise you hear in the background is my ice maker. Don't ask me. Anyway, thank you for your time. That's how you export a GEDCOM from your My Family Tree Maker software. Thank you for your time.